Combo Cage 7. I'm taking on All You Need Is Luft tonight. This has been a match which has occurred due to popular demand, so I first want to thank All You Need Is Luft for participating. A little bit about this opponent. He's as good as they get. In the history of opponents that I've played over the last 10 years, this is definitely one of the toughest I've played. He knows the opening well, can play the middle game, can turn a small advantage into a win. Very strong tactically. There's basically nowhere to hide. There's no way around this opponent. The only way is through, and even sometimes that's not good enough. Trying to go that way. So yeah, we're going to play 3 minutes per player. And we're going to play first of 10 matches wins this series. So good luck to my opponent. All You Need Is Luft. And to the audience, as always, hope you enjoy the stream. So here we go. Okay, we're away. Alright, I've got the white pieces first. I'm going to start with d4, just get into something a little bit unfamiliar. Okay. So, yeah, both of us know e4, e5 lines very well. There's probably a lot of knowledge between us. So, yeah, I feel like, to really play well today, I'm going to have to play well on all facets. That be time, the board, mixing up openings, making things complicated. I'm going to try to do everything I can in my power to put pressure on from different angles. Okay, so we're starting with a fairly balanced position here. D4, D5. Yeah, I'm going to look to get an early pawn at h6 in, and this is nothing special. White doesn't really have enough support to claim an attacking advantage or anything decisive yet. So I'm expecting knight g4 here and capture queen f8. That's pretty standard. I'm going to play bishop at d4 though. That is threatening rook at h8. This knight's not really hanging, so yeah, this is just a game. This is a balanced game. I think we're both in an unfamiliar position at least, so this is by no means familiar to us from the opening start. But it's completely balanced, so we both just have to play from here. Okay, he's preserving his knight. And here's where I feel white is very secure, but black is also just as secure. So, black has a few options with pieces to place. There's no real inroads yet, so I've got to keep making some trades. Still nothing decisive here. It's hard to make something out of nothing, but that's how it feels. So I've been continuing to hit the dark squares. It's to no avail really, so I've kind of run out of steam a little bit. So I'm looking at rerouting this knight here. I've sacrificed a piece for not much really. But all it is black still has plenty of pieces that are not placed on the board. So I'm trying to make something happen while that's still the case. But yeah, my objective assessment of this is black is just slightly better. Yeah, maybe I can do something with this. You're just going to grab my queen, I'll grab his queen. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, so even here I'm not keen on allowing too much pressure on f3. Yeah, black's just up on material. He's just defended and absorbed the attack attempts that I've had, and yeah, he's just up on material. He's just better. It's knight f4 blocking off this diagonal. A bit of a hit here. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to allow him to capture this one. So knight at h6 is something to be wary of. Yeah, I'm just going to keep myself safe. He's now very short on time, but it's also quite dangerous now. Knight at g5 is coming. Yeah, here I can capture the queen. So yeah, he just ran short of time at the end there, but he was grinding me down. So that's 1-0. Okay, got the black pieces. I'm going to play the French, which is something I don't normally play. But there was a query from one of the players in the audience, maybe last tournament event, asking why I don't play the French. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to give it a go. Okay. So I'm going to try something active here. If he plays c3, I'm going to take on f3 and potentially follow up with queen takes d4. If he blocks with a pawn on c3, then I've made him expend a pawn, and I'm happy to just bring the bishop back to d6. We'll go down the sharp path. Now he's got bishop at a4, so that makes things so it doesn't work. So I am going to have to back this bishop off. I'll put it on d6. So my idea was queen takes d4, and if queen takes d4, knight at c2. But the problem is if I play queen takes d4, I'll just back up the move one, so you can see if I play queen takes d4, he had bishop at a4. And he's now played that. So yeah, so not really ideal because I would have preferred to have the bishop still here. And that's probably just a strategic mistake. I've allowed this. So now he's really pinned me down and cramped me in. So again here I'm preferring my opponent's position. I can't take this pawn because knight takes f6 is mate. So I'm defending pretty hard here. It's back up against the wall. Pawn at g7 is not going to be comfortable. I'm nearly expecting him to sack. Yeah, can't say I like my position. I'm looking at bishop e6, takes pawn at g7, knight f5, opening up the queen to defend. Okay, I'm gonna play c6 just to give myself a little bit of breathing space. So this way, this knight's not pinned anymore. Yeah, I don't know if I should put it on f5 or d5. I think I prefer pawn at f5. No. I don't want to allow bishop e6 and two captures. Alright, I'll actually back this knight here. So I'm not getting mated because of this bishop's just defending. If he takes e6, I'll recapture with the knight. So that way I'm not getting boxed in. You can still play pawn at g7, that's fine. Now, now this pawn's hanging, so I need to defend that. So yeah, in fairness, this is pretty sharp here. He's going to come knight g7 and potentially sack. Oh, that's a surprising move. So knight f6 is on. Don't have much choice. Yeah, I expect him to play knight f6, then I'm going to play king f7, and I'm getting attacked, but the only way of defending is really to march the king up and try to take his pieces. Yeah, I think I'll take. Oh, maybe I don't need to take. Yeah, I'll take first, and then try to run the king to safety. Because pawn at g7 is coming, and yeah, it's a good move. Yeah, queen e6 is on. I'm running very short of time now, so I'm really up against it. Alright, I'm at big risk of getting mated here. In fact, I think he's found the mate already. Yeah, nice play. So yeah, white had a strong advantage there. Box black in. I made an inaccuracy in the opening. Okay, one each. Okay, we're both playing into unfamiliar territory, so this is good. And when I say it's good, I mean good watching for the audience. I think yeah, we're both going to be straining each other to play a good game here. So I'm not saying it's necessarily good for me. Just that it'll make some interesting play for sure. Okay, so should I enter into trades? That's the question. Yeah, I will, because I'm going to get pawn at g5 in first. So I'm expecting d takes. He could play knight takes. Alright. Yeah, let's play pawn at g5. Pardon me. So I'm just going to try to threaten some weaknesses on his position before he does on mine. And if I get the first bit of attack on him, the queen trade is going to be favourable to white. So he may even opt to prevent the queen trade now. It doesn't look favourable. Oh. So here he's got knight at g4 if I take it. So I can't take it. I've got to back off to h1. Because knight at g4 and a queen trade would be lethal. But now this pawn becomes something I can capture later if I can get safe. Yeah, I don't mind my position here. I'm fairly solid. Okay, he's now getting quite aggressive. So the idea is, yeah, later he may have some kind of queen at g1, knight takes f2. Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced though. I'm just going to grab this knight. He might recapture with the bishop, threatening pawn at h3. No, he's going to take queen first. He's taking with a knight. So he's threatening a draw at least with queen at g1. So that queen at g1 will have a perpetual check with knight f2. So yeah, I'm just going to cover the f2 square. Oh, actually, I'll have to be more careful than that because he can actually sack on g1 more than once. Maybe something like queen at h4 is necessary. So yeah, queen at g1, you gotta be careful. Rook g1, it takes. If rook takes, rook h2 mates. So you have to play king takes, but then pawn at h2, king back, rook at g1. You're mate on g1. So knight e4 is actually lost to force a mate. Knight at f3 holds things together. But then there'll be things like knight f2 or pawn h3. Yeah, I'm spending a lot of time here. I'm actually going to play queen at h4. This is a defensive move, covering squares like h2 and g4. And of course there's a knight at e7 mate threat. I'm going to play knight at e7 here. Okay, very sharp. Yeah, I'll take this. I'm going to recapture this queen with the pawn to avoid a draw. Otherwise there's a perpetual check. And now I want to grab this knight on g4 to relieve the attack on my king. It also becomes a potential threat. So, I should have played knight at f3, that would have been much stronger. Or even knight e4. So I'll get it in now. So I'm just going to hit this G5 square really hard. And then I'll grab H5. And then I'll come in on the light squares instead. So yeah, it's all on the clock now. Yeah, I got the better of him in the end. Oof, that was a tight match. Alright, that's 2-1 in my favour. Feels like there's going to be a long night. Okay, we'll play E4, E5. So, yeah, there's a lot of theoretical traps that my opponent knows, and he's also good at inventing um, new opening ideas. So we'll see where this leads. Okay, he's going for a knight A4 line. So I don't mind this line as well as white. It may seem a little bit passive, but it's an option which is just avoiding a lot of the mainstream play, and then both sides are just forced to play Crazyhouse. So we should come up with a fairly balanced position. I expect he'll try to create pressure here. No, it's coming down this side. So okay, I'm going to play Queen E7 just to give a bit more coverage. Bishop G5 is certainly a possibility. Yeah, I'll take this one here because I can play knight at H4. If his queen comes out to F3, and he can't play Queen G3 because of knight at E2. He's got no other squares for the queen out near the king side. He could play Queen E3. He could have to bring his queen back. But yeah, from here, I'm not really fond of this G2 sack. I don't see anything decisive there. H6 isn't great either. I've still got a weakness on F7. Yeah, so I don't mind the position here, but then I've got to think, what next? You know what, maybe I do have to play H6. I just need to stop the bishop from creating pressure. Bishop at G3 is a possibility. The knight is covering here, so I'm just going to drop back. If he wants to sack on F7, he can. But yeah, I think white's just a bit better here. I mean, white's got a battery here. White's attacking something. Black's not completely defensive, but he's a little bit on the back foot. So yeah, this idea is fine. Pawn at F5. Just hammering the light squares. Yeah, something like F4 is quite reasonable. He's gone quite direct. He's going to get pawn at G6 on to hit this rook. Yeah, I'm going to deliberately defend this with the knight. I don't want to put another bishop in his hand because if he captures twice here and has a bishop, he'll play bishop at B3 when my queen is here. So yeah, white's got all the initiative here, but has sacrificed a little bit of material. So if white doesn't take advantage of the initiative quickly, then black will be able to consolidate. So okay, pawns are coming off. There's going to be more pressure on the light squares. Here's where I've got to make a bit of a critical decision if I'm going to try to counter attack or defend. So I think bishop at h5 is in order. Hit the queen, put some defense on. He may capture it. And then he may play bishop at g6, which is actually quite strong. No, he's ignoring it altogether. Alright, I am going to have to take the queen, or else I'm not threatening anything. So here I have a problem. He sacrificed the queen, but he just has so much initiative in hand. Alright, we'll cover up. Bishop at h5 defends things, but it also stops knight at h5 and knight at g4. Yeah, I'm not enjoying this though. Yeah, struggling here. So I think there's mate coming. This is surely mated. It's only a matter of time. Oh, that's not going to help me much. Yeah, simply outplayed this game. So he's done very well with that pressure on the light squares. 2-all. So very evenly matched. White's won every single game so far. So like I said, I think it's going to be a long night. Okay, e4, e5. Okay, I'm going to play an early sack here. Okay, there's a question from the channel. I will try to get to it, but not just yet. Okay, so yeah, we're even on material, but yeah, I think Black's got a decent position. He's artificially castled. He's got good activity. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure which side I prefer here. Maybe Black a little bit, but not by much. So Black's also got a weakness on f7, but yeah, I think this is correct. I'm just going to opt to defend this pawn. So I am now going to be a piece behind. Okay, so threat's taken here. Queen gets taken. I don't really see much happening on the back, so I'm actually going to ignore it. Put something on his king side. So if we were to capture twice, capture, there's bishop e2 takes, and then all the squares that a knight could hit are recovered. So yeah, he may have done this first to not yet decide to trade queens off. Alright, the question from IRN Juggle 28, he said, you refer to your opponent as one of the best ever. It seems that when talking about most of your other tough opponents, you say one of the best current players. What creates that distinction for you, and who, in what order, including yourself, would be on your top 5 all-time list? Yeah, I mean, let me play a few more moves here. I'll try to answer that question best I can. Okay. I need to figure if taking is now dangerous. So capture, capture, and capture here. I think it's fine. Bishop at d2. So then capture, capture, puts queen up. That's too dangerous. I'm going to have to duck to f1. Yeah, let me explain shortly. My opponent's certainly making me focus on the game. Yeah, I'll capture here first. So he's playing a really sharp game here. So I'm tossed up between takes or queen at e7. My preference is queen at e7. It's hitting a rook. If I can capture that, I'll be pretty happy. Knight e4 is an option though. Yeah, I'll take this. Knight e4 is quite tricky. It does a discovered attack and it also defends the bishop. But you'll have to look out for what's coming back behind you. Yeah, that's not unexpected. Yeah, do I have something sharp in return? So capture here maybe. Yeah, it looks crazy, but he's got to go king h6. So really stretching. Look at h5. That's the correct move. He's not falling for my cheap trick. I'm going to pay for that. Oh dear. Oh gosh, this is sharp and quick. What's all happening here? Geez, that was a sharp finish. Yeah, in response to why I think this is one of the best players ever, I'd say, during my 10 years, I mean, I'll be honest, I consider myself well past my peak. I mean, I think my peak was several years ago, and even at my peak, this is one player that would still be able to beat me in a series. And when I was potentially crushing everyone else, I would still have difficulties with this opponent. I also have wins in series, but this definitely was one of the toughest contenders at the time when I felt I was playing my best. So put all the ratings aside, put all the current scores aside. I know what this opponent is capable of, and it's got nothing to do with stats. It's got all to do with how this person plays, and you know, that's to be respected. So that's how I make the distinction. It's all to do with the name of the player and knowing what this player is capable of. Okay, so I'm playing in risky land here. I'm putting my king in a position where, you know, knight takes, d takes, knight at g5, king g8, and only one pawn would mate me. But white doesn't have a pawn in hand, and with a knight here, this pawn's hanging. So I'm, you know, basically hanging for an unsafe, playing for an unsafe king, but you know, material advantage with a piece for a pawn here. Okay, so knight at e6. Now if I take, it just looks too dangerous. I'm going to lose that queen for no compensation. Queen d7 is an ugly looking move, but I think I need to play it. Because queen d6 runs into knight b5. Oh no, it's not queen b4. Alright, we'll go to d6 then. As for top 5, yeah, I'm not going to put myself. It's not for me to judge. You know, I think I've got a decent fighting chance against any player, but I'm not going to put myself on a list. So the players that I would put on the list, I have put on before in an interview with Krosky. There are probably 5 players from Fix which I've judged as being top contenders, and this opponent is one of those. So okay, he's making my bishop look silly out here. So my pieces are just in complete disarray. My threat is taking this pawn at the moment though, so he's got to find a square for this knight. And since he doesn't have one, he's played here. So now, oh, it's queen c5 an option. And knight at f2. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to take advantage of this diagonal while he has no blockers. And the knight here is not dangerous to me yet. If he has another pawn, yeah, even then it's not too bad. It might be pawn f7, king here, knight e6, take, discovered check, but I can block it. So he's got to be mindful of rook at f1 at the moment. He's got to defend against that. Now it's whether I should take h6 or take f4. I'm going to take h6. There's some value in relieving a pawn closer to the king. And then it also threatens to remove this knight. So pawn at h3 is something that could come. If there's moves he can hit me with is knight d3. I think here I should really attack. I've got this well covered. Pawn at f7, king d8. I think black's generating an edge here. So yeah, king f8 is also an option. No, go kill king d8. I'm just concerned if there's a discovery here which might unlock on the king. Okay with this. So I'm feeling like black's pretty safe here. It's only a rook that mates black on d8. So yeah. Let's capture some material. Yeah, this is going to be over. Knight at c5 and bishop at b4. Alright, happy to take a win with black, so that's now 4-2. Okay, I've got the white pieces again. Let's actually, we'll go with knight f3 again. I'm going to try to mix up the openings a little. So I'm going to do something that's just generally not done often, which is a double fianchetto. There's probably nothing wrong with it. It's just going to create an unfamiliar position. And then from there we'll figure out how we play. So of course in creating an unfamiliar position it's also preferably an unfamiliar position where I'm not particularly worse, it's just original. Okay, so I can pretty safely say both players here are in unfamiliar territory. Should I take with a pawn or with a knight? That's the question. Take with the knight, just develop it. Yeah, knight at g4 is interesting, yeah. I'm going to be accurate and step to g1 so that knight f2 isn't a check. Though that may not make a difference, maybe knight f2 is still playable because it can take d1. Okay. Alright, let's make some trades and get in on d5. The queen takes f5, knight takes e7 is on. Now both knights are attacking e7. Yeah, I'm feeling like the aggressive move is right here, taking the pawn. Okay. So the right thing for black to do here is actually to bottle up and hold on to a material advantage and then try to push back out later. So I'm actually a fan of knight e8 and getting a king safe. This is also okay. So material is completely balanced, but neither side's really getting in. I'm going to try to make a weakness on g7. And of course he can just back the bishop off if he likes. All that. So yeah, there's no easy inroads here. I mean, knight g5 is now a threat. You know, it's all defensible though. Now bishop at f6, but even grabbing this rook isn't really something to celebrate. bishop at d5 because it hits the queen, gives white a bit extra defence. So white's not falling apart at the back. Alright, so I've got all my pieces on. Just need to keep making threats. So I've got to watch out of some pressure being released on g3, so I'm going to lock up this diagonal. Rook c8's a possibility. Alright, I feel I'm making some ground now. I still have no weaknesses on the king side, but black's starting to crumble. So yeah, I should just take this. There's no threat here. Okay, take another win down, but none of these are easy. You can see they're all hard grinds. We're now at 5-2. Alright, we'll go with the French again. So I'm going to play it into this line again, but I don't think I'll play bishop takes f3 at the same stage where I did. I think that was a mistake. So yeah, in fact, let's just go knight e7. I think f5 is a good square for the knight. So that's threatening bishop takes f3, because d4's hanging. So here's where I can play bishop d6. Because a pawn at e5 now, I can capture, bishop takes f3. Knight h5 is fine, that's a good move. But yeah, black's getting to develop pieces, so I'm happy with that. So the idea of pawn at g4 is to knock this knight away, so knight h5 is more of a threat. Which makes me want to take this one first. So I will, or just simply bishop f3. And then capture knight h4. Yeah, I'm going to go this way. If queen takes, I play knight at c2. So last time I went down this opening path, I made the mistake of being too passive, and then white just pushed me off the board. So threat here is bishop takes f4, bishop takes f4, knight at g2, winning a piece. I'm expecting knight h5, because I don't think you should be worried about the g2 square yet. So that's been played. And I'm just going to cover this. So rather than castle into danger, the king is actually quite safe here. So I'm going to leave the king in the center for a little bit. Would love to have a pawn for g2. So I'm expecting he'll play strategically and knock my knight away. Then again, knight f3 is on, so queen f3, knight at c2. King here takes, queen b7. I think it should be played. Yeah. Queen b7's coming. That's all material grab at the moment. Oh, okay, that's a surprise. Cover that with a pawn. I want to keep my dark squares intact. Yeah, h7's on now. Yeah, I do want to cover it. I'm going to cover this, and then I'm planning on taking the knight and then playing knight at g5 to cover this with tempo. So the rook's been hit here. Knight at g5 isn't an option now. So yeah, that's not ideal. That was not part of the plan. Let's play f5 to block that off. But yeah, look, white's kind of standing a bit better now, despite me getting this check in, because I just feel that white has a bit more flexibility in this position. Right, bishop at g4 maybe. Grab here. But yeah, this knight's stranded. This knight's not really active. This bishop's going to come in here next. Yeah, we'll allow it. I'll play pawn at c2. So yeah, every pawn's counting here because black's again quite passive if I can't get some activity going. So yeah, I'm patching up. So while the white king's still in a little bit of dodge, I need to get active fast and try to make something out of nothing. Against this opponent, I don't back my chances. So we both got 30 seconds left. I also need to keep an eye on the clock. Alright, he's just ignoring what's going on here. I don't think he has much to be worried about. Okay, I've got to make some moves. Got to keep active, keep some threats up. I want to capture this bishop and make some ground on the light squares. Bishop at c4 is helpful, just covers up the squares here. So he's got to be careful he doesn't get mated. Yeah, there's a lot of dangers for white here. Yeah, I think white's going to be mated if I'm accurate enough. Yeah, there we have it. Okay, that takes it to 6-2. Let's go with e4 again. Okay. Sorry, I've not kept up with the chat. I've been absolutely focusing on the game. Someone's saying that they're going to try to distract JannLee with jokes in the channel. Yeah, I did play a tournament match the other day, and I was trying to understand a joke and ended up losing a game because I didn't respond in the first 25 seconds. And at the end of that, I didn't even get the joke, so that was kind of amusing. Okay, what's going on here? Yeah, I think I'll just castle. So I'm looking at, I don't think pawn at f2 is dangerous. Pawn at h3 has some potential, but I'm probably just going to, if I recapture, take knight h4 is dangerous. I can be ballsy and just run up, which is what I'm going to try. I'll put my king on h3. I'm expecting knight h4. And the idea will be knight h4, king g1, knight c3 takes, knight at h3, king h1, pawn at g2 mate. So to avoid the mating sequences, I'm going to have to put my king here, but he doesn't have a bishop to put on g2. So I'm basically trying to claim, I've picked up a bishop for a pawn, and then I've opted to pretty much defend for the rest of the game. So here white's trying to prove that he can get away with winning that piece, and black's trying to prove that the attack's too much. So takes, bishop g2, king here, knight e4. Looks like it's getting mated. I'm going to play pawn at g5. With pawn at g4 I can capture this. Knight at f5 isn't mating because of knight here. Knight at g2 is not mate because of king g3. So I'm basically trying to defend as sharp as I can and threaten to capture as much material as I can. Put my king in some danger, but maybe come out on top. So it's against this caliber of player that I nearly feel like I'm forced to take risk like this to try to get an advantage. Yeah, it looks like some of the fans in the channel said, yeah, we remember you were too slow to get the joke, and yeah, good on you. Alright, takes here, rook takes, queen takes, bishop at g2, king g4. Sharp, sharp, sharp. If he takes the rook, we still have a mate. I'm gonna still push with it. This is playing about as risky as it can get. If I miss just one mating idea, I'm gonna get hung for it. So here what I'm seeing is rook takes, queen takes, bishop at g2, king g4. There's no mate, and then bishop takes f1, and then I might even play something like e6 because the rook is still not mating me. So I'm basically starting to attack his king. The main bit will be to cut off his escape square. Could start with rook at h8, but I actually think king d7 might be okay for him. So e6 is my preference. Right. Here's where we find out if I've just completely missed something. Yeah, I think the rook first. If he brings the king up, I'll have e6 and knight at e5. If he brings king here, I play e6. Hey Belle, how come you're not asleep? Okay, hang on. Daddy's in the middle of a stream. Hang on a second. Alright, so he's run out of kings. So this is crazy. We both got open kings here. I don't think I'm getting mated though. So it's all about capturing this queen safely and then trying to find mate. So I'm going to put the knight here. That just gives me a little bit more safety, having some defense. Play our checks first. Alright, time to capture this queen. But now pawn at f5 is dangerous. It's got rook h3. Yeah, now I'm mated. Oh, he didn't see it though. I don't think it matters. I'm going to run out on the clock. Yeah, spent too much time and paid the price. Nice play, nice play. Yeah, I think I shouldn't have waited that long. Geez, tough match, really sharp, and couldn't hold him off in the end. Okay, what am I going to try this time? Play d5, something very different. So yeah, a little bit disappointed with that one because I felt like I got myself in the right position and just froze up where I shouldn't have. So I believe we're now at could be 6-3 in my favour. Okay, I'm going to try to put some pressure on the dark square straight away. And, you know, my opponent won't be expecting me to play something like this, I think, because even I'm not expecting myself to play something like this, so hopefully there's some value in that. So yeah, with the rook moved here, I'm looking at trying to grab a pawn here. And then the issue is just that white's going to be ahead on development, so it'll be a question of whether or not it's really worthwhile grabbing this pawn. You may even be able to trap it. So bishop at c4, I think, traps the queen. If queen a3, bishop b4, and then that forces queen a4, and then bishop b5 check wins the queen. So I don't think it's actually sound grabbing this pawn. If he plays bishop at c4, which he has, I'm going to grab the rook. And now white's a little bit better. So okay, d5's an issue. That really opens things up for white. So I don't want that to happen. Yeah, I'm going to have to defend a little bit passively. So yeah, not off to a great start this game. Not at all. Okay, the bishop's threatening. f8 and e7 are covered. Should I just kick it? Maybe I'll pin it first. So yeah, knight e5 is a possibility. Oh, where's this heading? Did I miss something? g6. Ugh, yuck. Okay, he's going straight for it. That's a good move. No mucking around at all. Big trouble. Big trouble. I don't have a good way to get out of that. Pawn at g6 is absolutely crushing. Alright, I'm going to resort to something like this then. Just trying to clear some pressure off the back, but yeah, this is coming in hard and fast. I don't have an answer to this. This just looks bad all over. Yeah, so white's just up a house now. Up a house and up on the clock. I'm just hanging on for dear life. Yeah, I'm going to throw in the towel. Okay, let's come back. We're back to 6-4. So I'll mix it up again. I'm kicking myself a little bit that I didn't win the game 2 matches ago. Okay, completely balanced position here. Alright, this is under attack. So yeah, I wanna try to hit this somehow, make something there. This is interesting. He's playing against this pawn here. So yeah, there could be some tricks with some eventual pin on e3 which wins the queen, but I would take 2 pieces back from queen and a pawn, so I can live with that. I don't mind just covering e3 with another rook here and consolidating. And then, yeah, he's going to play it. So it's on knight at d4, or just a straight capture. I'm going to go for the straight capture. We'll consolidate the dark squares. Now I'm standing to lose a piece if I don't cover e3, so in fact maybe bishop f2 is more appropriate. No doubt he's looking at queen at e3, but yeah, there's rook f2. Maybe he's considering, yeah, so there's a bishop coming on now. Back out of that, and then if he takes my knight, I'll go knight at e7 and find something on g6. Okay. So queen at g4, defensive and aggressive at once. So I think I should just respond to that by playing queen at g5. Or is knight at g5 dangerous, forcing him to play pawn h7. I have to be careful not to fall in the trap of just giving away too much time here. Maybe bishop at f6. So that threatens knight at h6 check, which is threatening to win the queen. He can't capture it because of queen h8. The bishop also defends this on h4. Can't take here because of knight at h6. You can take with the knight, and then I'll recapture with the bishop. and I'm still retaining the same threat, but then I'm making progress on his king. So I like bishop at f6. That's a sharp move. So my opponent's just going to be right back after this one. So you're really forcing the issue here. Knight at h6. So yeah, even here I'm just happy to pick up the queen. He's not allowing that. So knight at f6, threatening mate with queen at h7 and also his queen. So black's position's crumbling now. You might have some, yeah, the knight also covers h2, so there's no tricky mate threats that will come out of nowhere. There's knight at g3 I have to be careful of. But okay, let's capture this, should be fine. There's a whole lot of checks here, but it's not going to lead to mate. Alright, we'll put the queen on. Just make sure we don't lose on time here. Alright, we'll let my opponent take a quick break there. I'll catch up on some of the channel chat. So Sean Seaver, he said, I've always had so much respect for Tannerman's defense. He says, you will always be Tannerman to me. So for those viewers who don't know, Tannerman is my name from Fix. It's been my name for 10 years. I've just got a different name here. E.Bomb says, I think the real key to him winning is that he just makes better moves than his opponents in time pressure. Actually, I'll come back shortly. I just need to check up on my family for 1 second. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, guys. Okay, I believe the score's now 7-4 in my favour. Okay, e4. So let's go for e5 again. We're playing to some familiar territory. So because he's played this knight a4, I'm going to mix it up and play h6, just to make him play something different. Because now with knight a4, black can play the bishop back to e7. So knight d5. Yeah, let's get knight g4 in. So this has become a little bit popular recently, black making a what I consider somewhat superficial attack on f2, but the practical chances are quite decent. It's okay, d4's coming, but at the moment, yeah, may have enough on it. Yeah, I'll choose to make the capture now. But after queen f2, I might play rook at d1. just to seal this off temporarily, very temporarily. When I say that, it's like one move. And I want to play bishop e6 and trade off this knight. So yeah, honestly, I would prefer the have the two pieces rather than the rook and the pawn. But let's see where this goes. Okay, so he's going to play the material game here. Right, I'll capture this bishop because it's close to the king, so it's still undeveloped. In fact, maybe it's better to take this one and then play for some pressure here. Yeah, we'll pin this. I won't be surprised if he takes here and plays a knight at g6. That's the move I'm expecting. Okay, it's just getting out of the way. Yeah, let's capture both of these. Right, now options are pawn at f4 or knight at g4. I'll play pawn at f4 just to alleviate some pressure here. And then white's play, I mean, white's got some nice pieces in hand. It's got 4 nice pieces. White's play will be to absorb whatever tiny initiative black has and then counterattack. So yeah, this pawn is maybe something that hit. I don't think knight at g4 achieves much. So what order should I progress in? Maybe bishop at g4, I think. Attacking this, maybe something like knight at g5 might be useful. Okay. Threat's been ignored. Okay, both plays down to about a minute. Okay. So with this gone here, that knight's a little bit weaker, so I'm going to hit it with this. Bishop's here, now bishop at h7, and his knights can't defend this pawn. So I want to get that thorn out of my side. And that'll help to slow down his progress. And picking up this rook, which is a bit sneaky. So he's blundered a little bit here, he's blundered some material back. He's let me back into the game. And now he's also very short on time. So I'm looking pretty solid here now. It's going to be hard for him to knock me out with such limited time left. Yeah, clock ran out of time for him in the end. Okay, back into a lead with 8-4. So, yeah, let's go with knight f3 again. Okay, so I'm often playing this setup with black myself. I think it's very playable. Put the knight on an interesting square. Just covering d4. So just a bit of patient play here. Black's actually a little bit ahead in development, not by much, marginally. I don't want to play knight d2 because that'll encourage bishop g2 and a double capture here. And there's some weaknesses for black to play against. I should just defend this. Bishop at c2 is okay. I don't mind parting with a knight and a rook for two bishops. The piece values in Crazyhouse are a little bit different to chess. You can allow such things like that. So I just want to see if I want to defend this pawn though. I do want to keep an eye on that pawn, so I'll play queen d2, so I've still got two defenders here. If there's a whole lot of trades and black gets to start some momentum, I don't feel I'm really close enough to the king yet to make some counter-attacking moves. So now he's kind of forcing it from my hand though. Alright, I'll go to e1. I think taking this is decent. So it's not all decisive yet, but yeah, White's got a few things to think about here. That's quite an accurate move. If I come here, he's going to take this one, and then pawn at e2 and pawn at c2 are really dangerous. So instead, I'll just take this guy. And then get a bit of defense. Hey, sorry. It could be. Okay, so interesting position here. Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe not. Okay. Yeah, I think that's too risky from black. I've got knight at h6. And the trick is if the queen's on d4, there's going to be a knight at f5 fork, which is going to be a useful asset to me to pick up this queen. It's going to open up black's position before he really gets into mine. I've still got a very solid king side with this bishop defending. So this is very sharp. This is really fine points here. So the idea being take, king h8, pawn at g7, knight at f5, and then that's forking the king and queen. So some tactics from a long way out. Yeah, I'll put the bishop on first. And take here, and this uncovers some more there. So I've got a safe king, and now I can think about how I want to attack his. This knight's also hanging, so because of that tactic, suddenly white has a lot to play for. Knight at e7 is now a threat. So I'm having to use every ounce of trickery and ability to try to find an edge this series. Okay. Yeah, I think Maybe not just yet. I'll play against this queen first. So I've just got to make sure I don't leave myself short on time. Okay. Any mate threats? Knight at f3. No, I can take this. I have enough defense. Yeah, it's really hard for black to break in with this here. Yeah, okay, well, there's going to be mate coming up. Alright, that takes it to 9-4. Okay. Yeah, what to do here? Play this way. So I think he's going to expect a g6 push. Okay, because he's castle queen side, I'm going to make an early push this way. Now, there's a bishop b5 check I need to be careful of. I'm going to bring the knight here first. Okay, so h5 is coming. Got to hit with e5 first. Neutralise that threat. Now I don't have the pawn on here, which is a bit unfortunate. But let's be bold, he doesn't have a knight in hand just yet. So I'm going to play knight b6 to come in with another knight here. He's going to ignore it because of bishop at b5. If takes, he captures the queen, and then things start looking dodgy. So I think white's looking a bit better here already. It'll be sharp, but white has an edge. I've made an inaccuracy in the opening because this is now dropped off. Seems willing to trade queens. I'll take him up on that offer. I need that to generate some counterplay. He's got to be careful of pawn at a3 and queen at a1 as well if he's not quick enough into my king. Now I've got to be wary of sacks that can occur on h6 because of pawn at g7 and just having a look at bishop at h6 here. Now I'll take the queen first. Play pawn at a3. And against this I play bishop at h7. And I'm banking on this attack to come through first before my position crumbles at home. So if rook h7, I've got knight h7. If takes here, I've got queen at a1. And they can just block. I'm not sure it really carries much merit. I may be able to run around and capture this rook. So maybe AB, king d1, queen at c1, king e2, knight f4, king e3, bishop c5. There's enough ammunition there. So if he does play this, I've got AB. Queen at a1 would be a mistake because of knight at b1. And then AB or queen takes, and then king d1 would be safe. There's not enough material to keep chasing. I have to start with AB. He may have missed this idea. He may not. Alright, I feel like I'm a pawn short here. No, I've got to play bishop a3 to stop his king coming back. Pawn at b4, king b2 I take here. So I'm going to stop commentating and try to focus on the game here. The attention's required. Okay, he's run up. Maybe knight at b5 was mating. I'm looking to pick up some more ammunition. Okay. I've just blown it here. I dare say I have. Oh, no, running too low on clock. Yeah, he's too good there. Maybe yeah, I could have missed a mate there. I ran really short on time. So the match goes on. We're at 9-5. Okay, it's good to see a real mix of openings here, and I've made a deliberate effort to try to choose a few different lines, but I think so has he. So it's really testing our abilities to actually play the game and not just recall opening moves. So this is a line where White's just sacking a couple pawns for some early development. And I play this a lot as White, not as much as Black. I think maybe there's dynamic equality. Maybe theoretically Black's a little bit better. But yeah, it's interesting, to say the least. Okay, I'm just looking at pawn at g2, rook g1, and being careful of knight at f3 mates. But if he takes this, I can take that, and the queen defends f3. Now if bishop h3, I think I'll play rook b1. That's interesting. I think he's decided to give more coverage onto d7 because it's a bit dangerous. So look, I'll just patch this one up. He might play pawn at f3, but I'm not fussed. I can just capture that. Yeah, so not ideal that he's played pawn at h3 and then he's kind of backed off, because it defeats the purpose. So I'm going to take the opportunity to hit his queen to cover my knight. So the idea is queen a3, rook b3, and then the knight's defended by the rook as well. And then that then frees up this knight to get active. Okay, so put the queen down. Now if I castle here, I've got to be careful with pawn at f3. So we'll just block off that queen trade and threaten to capture the knight. Perhaps, yeah, knight e5 is playable. That hits f3. And then I'd really want to play something like knight d4. Maybe that parts with the d5 pawn. That's worth keeping. Okay, let's just ignored it. So I don't want to castle just yet because of pawn at f3. It's either knight g3 or knight f4. Even taking the knight's a possibility. Alright, let's just play for material. I'll take the knight. Okay. We have a castle, pawn at f3 is quite annoying. I should allow rook d1. Place a knight on d4 to give f3 some more coverage. Also prevents this. And my idea is here to just castle and consolidate, and then I might have some weaknesses here later. So he's responded by just putting on f3 anyway. Yeah, I've got to be careful if I'm opening myself up for stuff. Queen at g3, defending g2, and also angling at c7. So I've got 30 seconds left here. I better just shut up and play a bit. I'll take the opportunity to answer some of the queries in channel if there are there. If they are there after the match. Okay, so I've got my king castle safe. Now I want to make some ground on his king. So I'll be a bit drastic. I'll come in with this. Alright, getting low on time now. So knight at d5 is where I'd like to come in. Oh, I've got a queen to pick up. I've got something to play for now. Okay, let's try to finish accurately here. Alright, that seals the series. 10-5. Alright, I'm going to close off. Yeah, what I might do, I just want to take an opportunity to answer some of the queries as well. I might not close the stream just there, I'll let it keep rolling. So yeah, some queries. Let's see, or just some comments. E-Dog Bomb, he said, so many of the games I've watched, he has essentially 10 seconds, his opponent has a minute, and his opponent tries to flag him, but in doing so makes suboptimal moves, and JannLee finds a mating combination. IRN Juggle 28 says, I've always thought JannLee wins games in the early middle game, maybe not against guys like 11-10, but in the tournaments he's always down on time, but up on position against even strong players. Someone's asked how old I am. I'm 31. I turned 31 in July. Danny Walker says, when is John going to stop screwing around and just invite me to a combo cage? Yeah, good on you, Danny. You come to my channel every week anyway. Yeah, I wouldn't want you to be missing from the sidelines, so that's why I'm not going to invite you into the combo cage. E-Dog Bomb says, John, you said you work in data. What exactly do you do? What was your educational background? Yeah, I work with data. It's just scan data. So stuff out of supermarkets, pharmacy, we gather, process that data, put it into databases for suppliers to measure sales performance. What was educational background? It's actually psychology with statistics, but haven't really used the psychology part, more so the statistical element and market research. So let's see, I'm just looking for a few more comments. Okay, just going through some chat. I was looking for some more questions. No, I think that's it for me. So I'm going to let the chat go on. All right, I'll have another go. We'll continue playing. So may as well. All you need is left is he's keen to play some more. So I'll oblige. Okay, so I've taken the series 10-5, but we're just going to keep going now. He's said should stream some bug from Fix one time. Okay, so yeah, there have been some requests to also, play some Bughouse on Fix and make a recording of that. I haven't actually been on Fix for a while since Leechess came up. Maybe it's a possibility, but yeah, I think there's a lot to promote with the game of Crazyhouse for the time being, so I'm going to focus on this first and foremost, and then we'll see how it goes. Alright, so already here I'm thinking a bit strategically on where this game's headed. I mean, there's been a lot of pressure on f7 before. Maybe I play bishop g4, but against h3 not capture this, I might just back off here to do something different. Bishop at b3 is going to come. Alright, and Michael, he said finger of 10 the man, which means the notes on Fix. He said last disconnected Sunday, March 6th. He said feels bad, man. Okay, so knight at f5 is potentially coming. No. I have everything tied down. I actually play my king across. I'll prepare g7 by playing rook g8. Alright, so I can't take this queen on d1 because of knight f7. So I'm going to put another defender on f7. Ooh, and g4. So he's daring enough to open up the king because he's got enough on the king side already. I'm going to have to take this. And I might just push him back with pawn at h6. I'd like to unleash some kind of nasty check somewhere if I can make it work. The only problem is it doesn't quite work. I wanted to play if takes, knight takes g4. It works if he plays queen takes, and I can play queen takes, knight at f3, win queen. The problem is after takes, you can just go here. So, yeah, I'm just going to play d5. Alright, 35 seconds left. Alright. We're going to play 10 more matches. So I am down a piece for a pawn, so I do need to try to make some activity on this side. That's what I have. Ooh, going to Sharptown. I think he's missed this move. Oh dear, the clock. Alright, I got there in the end. Okay. Alright, so he's opted for a bit of a passive wall here. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. I'm going to play an early sack, 2 pieces for a pawn, some pressure here. And then I'm going to pursue by trying to hit the light squares quite aggressively. So I'm expecting bishop d7. I don't mind castling first before trying to get d5 and open up the file. Just to take away a... Sometimes black has a queen e7 resource. I should try to keep up with the chat now. Okay, I've dropped the pawn here. I don't mind if he captures f2. I can't keep up with the chat guys anymore. Sorry, there's too many different topics floating around at once. Okay, I'm gonna play conservatively and just defend this. I didn't really think it was wise for me to drop this pawn on e4. Black's been able to capture it, and it's good for him. So what I expect my opponent to do now is really try to make every pawn on the board count. I think there'll be a capture here, there'll be h5 if it comes in. You still need to be careful of making weaknesses at the back. So if h5, I've got a mind to play bishop c2 to reroute the bishop to g6. He hasn't gone that direction. Just threatening the bishop. So okay, we'll develop the bishop. So that side couldn't play queen g4, he was going to take this bishop. Now I can capture it though, so I'm going to. Okay, I'm just keen to lock this bishop out of the king side. He's not going to allow that. I'm going to try to put more pressure on f7, so if he does capture this, I can play pawn at f7. He's not going to allow that either. So now, what options do I have? Well, this is interesting. Capture the knight first, and then I'll capture his queen. And now I'm threatening pawn at h7 with some mate threats. Okay, I think he could be mated here. He's going to run out. Can I finish him sharply? Yeah, let's be sneaky. Maybe knight at h8, or I'll just make a queen here. And then if that distracts the rook, knight at g5 is much stronger. Here I should just not take too much time really, I should just make some move. I'm more at risk of losing on time than anything else. Okay, there's a few checks to be played here, but there's not going to be made out of this. Okay. So my knight covers h1, so that keeps me safe. So yeah, got this guy in now. Just keep the checks flowing. Cover my king side. Alright, take another win there. Okay, we'll go back to the fianchetto on the king side. So I've won the main match 10-5. I think of the second stretch of just the straight 10 matches, I'm now up 2-0. Okay, early e5. Mix things up a bit. So I'm going to keep pressuring this f3 square. It's not really going anywhere. So I've got the opportunity to patch up a dark square hole before maybe playing knight f6 or knight e7. I'm going to choose knight e7 maybe. What's the difference between knight e7 and knight f6? Is it really just trivial? And maybe before that it's bishop e6. So this pawn still can't be taken. The knight can take this. The other point of h6 is to prevent bishop g5 to unroot this knight on h4. It's a bit of a thorn in white's queen side. So yeah, I've got a couple of bishops doing their thing. Yeah, I think it's time to capture here. It's taking an awful long time here. This is the middle game. We'll see if he captures on e6. Some tricks with knight at c4. I want to get something moving on this diagonal because he might try to grab a pawn here. But yeah, I'm trying to punch some weaknesses in the dark squares. I've spent way too much time on it though. Okay, let's take. I'm short on time again. So now I've got some activity here. I want to put a knight on a4, but I want to defend it first because of a bishop at b5 check. So yeah, that's probably the right place to put the queen. And now I'm just short on time. It's not managing time very well. Oh, this is definitely heading south now. I've fallen for the tactic there. So yeah, just left myself too short on time. Had an interesting position there and just fell asleep at the wheel. Okay, we're 2-1 in this section. We'll go with f4. We'll go with something very original and different. Yeah, why not go nuts? I've never played this opening before, that I am certain of. It seems a little bit open with this, but we may be able to hold together the loose bits. So the idea is there's a queen h4 check coming. So knight e4, knight b5, queen h4, g3, knight g3. No, he didn't go that way. Let's go on this way. No, I can't play g3 because it leaves f3 uncovered, so I have to play pawn at g3, then I'm expecting to go back to e7. So I've got to have this pawn here to cover the f3 square so I don't get forked. At the moment that'll be a pin as well. So this guy is important. Now I can't yet take this pawn because of knight at d3 check takes and knight at c2. That one's a queen. There's the forks going on here. So yeah, I'll play knight at e3. Prevents knight at f5, prevents this knight at d3 trick. So now I actually am threatening to take this pawn. And I can also make my life easier to castle later because his queen won't be attacking his bishop. This knight's now blocking him. And if he wants to play knight at f5, we'll capture and then... Yeah, now knight at e3 can take c2. It's a little bit annoying. No, it's alright. If he plays pawn at d3, I'll have bishop at b5 check, and that'll win the pawn. So pawn at d3 is not a move here. Knight at d3, I just sidestep it. So I think I'm up a piece here. few little sharp tricks and tactics. So knight at c6, yes, that's interesting. So I can't take this. I can't take the knight because the queen takes e2. So bishop e3 has to be played first. So I've got to stop this mate. You can't take my queen because it's pinned. I just couldn't take this or else I'd be unlocking the pin. So I have to actually break my own pin first and then try to take his knight on c2, c6. So I'll lose one of these pieces but then get this piece back. So yeah, plenty of sharpness in this middle game here, but I prefer the white pieces at this stage. Happy to pick up a rook. That's a very dangerous threat, rook at b8. So yeah, I've outplayed him in the middle game there, so I did quite well. Okay, we're at 3-1, 6 games to go. He's playing the English. Okay, this is what he wanted to do. So against the English, I just played d5 and I tried to get the bishop out early, just on principle. And you don't have to do that, but this is just one way of playing against it. It's a very open, active way of playing. And I expect him to be wise enough to cover up c2. Not with pawn at c2, with d3, making use of other resources. Because playing pawn at c2 is a little bit like accepting that c4 was a mistake. So, look, it does make a weakness, but I've spoken about this before in my streams that you know, these sorts of lines are probably playable, but they're just a little bit tricky to defend. Okay, well, I'm gonna really go for his light squares. If he takes, I'm pretty sure that's going to be good for black. Knight's under attack, this pawn's under attack. Okay, well, I'm happy to take the knight. So I've earned a piece for my troubles. And that's not enough to be decisive yet, but it's a small edge to start from. The question is, do I take here or do I take here? No, I think I'm helping him get active by playing with G. Yeah, no, FG looks more interesting. I expect him to pin me here, then I'll play knight at e5. And if he hits my knight, then I'll play knight at h4, potentially. And hit him on his light squares. So you can take this knight, I'll recapture it. This knight's defended by the queen, so the queen a4 check doesn't work. But that's what I was looking at. I'm basically trying to make something happen on f3 or h3, g2. So I've given a piece back to try to be active. Oh, he's allowed d3. Yeah, I think I'll take g2 first and then queen d3. Or is it better leaving this knight here? No, we'll get the bishop in hand. Pawn at d7, I'll be bold and brave enough to capture it. Knight at c5 doesn't win the queen because the bishop's covering it. There's a knight on e5 blocking the other way, and if he takes the queen, I get it with check. So even if my king's in the open, I'll get the first check on his king. So looking to play very sharp and actively here. Pawn at c6, I'll come back to e8, and then they've run out of pawns. So I've got to say that the quality of the games tonight have been very good. It's not been easy for either player to make progress. Okay, he's going to let me have this. I think he's made it though. This is queen at d3. If he blocks with anything here, so if he blocks with the knight, then pawn at e2, king e1, knight at c2. If he blocks with the rook, then pawn e2, king e1, knight at f3 mates. So he has to play bishop d2. But then, how do I get him there? Pawn, yeah, there'll be mate there. Bishop d2, then bishop at c2. And that importantly covers off these guys. And then after knight e2, king b2, knight c4 mates. Pawn at b3 to finish. Yeah, so it was too dangerous to allow me to capture the queen, but then it was already looking very difficult from their options. Okay, let's go for b3. So we've played through a similar opening before. Nothing special for either side. So I'm looking to control this d5 square, maybe get knight e4 in. This is allowing a knight there. I may it's either knight e4 or knight at e4. I think I prefer knight e4. So a completely balanced, unfamiliar position here. Just going to cover up this guy. Okay, that's what I'm going to leave. I think that starts opening me up if he can play knight e4. I'm just going to allow him to capture it and recapture with his pawn. In the meantime, I'm threatening knight f6 and queen h6. And if he backs off the bishop, then my knight can move in. So, yeah, here though, if I take and just capture this guy. So I have to just settle. I'm not able to take this one just yet. Or maybe I should have actually taken it first and then recaptured here. Because he doesn't have a pawn or a bishop to put on g7. And I think that's correct, he's just backed off there. So okay, we'll threaten to come in with queen h6, nevertheless. Okay, so he's just made me use a pawn there, so that's just inaccurate from my side. So black's definitely better here. There's just a sneaky attack on d4, which I expect him to defend. So yeah, a bit of an inaccuracy there with the move order. But you got to play the position you have, so let's get going. So rook at e5, yeah, I'm happy to play bishop at h7 and allow this capture. In the meantime, just hit his knight back at home. So yeah, I'm just worse off here and playing for tricks. So I'm happy to have picked up this knight. If the bishop comes here, I've got rook at h4 check now, which plays the fork. So we'll put that on regardless. I'd be happy to make some progress on his dark squares. Okay, so I'm down significant material, but trying to make some progress on the king side. I've got plenty of pieces around my king. Plenty of opportunities to make threats. Now knight at f5 is an opportunity. Just trying to shut that down. This looks dangerous for him. Yeah, I've just hung out long enough, and now this is actually looking better for white. Trying to play some trickery here. Yeah, so that's just perseverance in a lost position, and it all started coming down for him when he allowed me to capture that knight on e2, because it gave me a little bit more ammunition to have something to play for on the king side. Alright, I'll play the black side of this. We're now at 5-1, based on the last 10 matches we're going to play here. So for those that have just joined, I took the main match 10-5, and then we've agreed to play another 10 matches, and then I am going to have to call it a night and go to sleep. Okay, just straight balance position here. Trying to make something on the king side, but where I'm attacking is already where all the defense is, so there's nothing special there. Mind you, white has no activity on the black king either, so here's where I'd like to get pawn at e4 in. You can capture the rook, that's good. I probably should have prepared that better. I'll be quite superficial and just make some roads this side. Now he's going into this knowing that if I play pawn at f3, he's just actually going to pick up a pawn. And then he may be able to defend. But these two knights are focused at e5. So if I'm lucky, they may be... Oh, I was thinking if his king got drawn out somehow. It's not even close to getting drawn out. He's allowed me to take the piece back. And now he's allowed me to actually win a piece. So he's been a bit passive there. I mean, he could have forced the issue a little bit more on material. But okay, maybe he's gone for a safe king instead. That's not such a bad play. I'd like to make use of this rook somehow. Can be tricky. I'm looking to get queen active on h4 somehow, but I don't think it quite works. I'm not going to be able to break his position if I just keep hitting f3. That's very easily defended, and you can see that I'm trying to get in through more obscure means against this caliber of player. He's still going that way. Should I take this one? May as well take this one. I'm kind of leaving this option here, but then it's also an option to capture the rook. Maybe at a later stage. I had to go for the dark squares instead, because the light squares are just impenetrable. Alright, let's be ambitious. I am giving up a lot of material here, and it may not be enough to pull the win. But it's absolutely committing to this attack. Okay, at this stage, I like taking this. My attack dissipates if I play bishop f2. Now, I was going to play rook at h2 and pawn at g3, but he's decided he's going to cover against that. So okay, let's take this guy. I'm not too concerned about knight h6, I can just back off against that one. He doesn't have a rook in hand. Okay, it's getting decisive now. It's a question if I bring the queen in, if that's actually helping him more or myself. I like this rook at h2 idea. Yeah, I'm not making the ground that I want to be. He's defending very well. Okay, rook at g3. Here's my play. Oh no, he took it. Oh, it's all happening here. Okay, sharp finishes, sharp finishes. Yeah, I can see mate. Oh, I thought I saw mate. Alright, there we have it. I just had to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Nearly felt like a dead horse uphill, but I did find a way through eventually. Okay, we're now at 6-1. I'll call last three. Right, we've already had one interesting game down this line tonight, and he played a pawn on h3, and I committed the king to h3, and he continued attacking. I'm going to head down the same line deliberately, because I believe that, yeah, in the long haul it probably is better for white. I can't bring the king back because of knight at h3 check, king h1, pawn at g2 mate, so I have to commit the king upwards. And so I've got a piece for a pawn here, and I'm going to say I've got plenty of defense here. But yeah, I did actually play too slow last time, and I ran out of time. So h5 here is interesting because if bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes, bishop at g2, king g3, knight at e4, the key move. King up. He still doesn't have mate. So yeah, I'm going to go down this path again. With pawn at g4, I can take this. I'm just narrowly avoiding being mated again. Knight at f5 doesn't mate. Last game he played knight at f5, and then I was bold enough to take h5. So I think I'll go down the same path. And it definitely was looking better for me. I just ran out of time. So really playing a high quality match here. Okay, knight d4 happened last time, and then continued with rook at h8. Now here, e6 is a fascinating move. So check takes knight here. He doesn't have mate. Can't check me with the knight. Check take, knight f3 back. Alright, e6 in the middle of nowhere. Super sharp stuff. This is the kind of move that is just fantastic to play. It just looks out of place. You got checks that are available, and I think the key is actually blocking off d7 here. So yeah, I'm going to capture this. He's got pawn at f5 maybe. I'll have to capture that. Pawn at f5. Takes. Yeah. He's going to take my rook. And then I've got to be careful here. I better capture this knight. Or else there's the king g3, there's some knight at h1, and oh yeah, I'll capture that. I'll bank my chances on winning this one. Pawn at d7 is too strong. Yeah, I like this e6 move. That was a fun game to play. Okay, we've got 2 matches left, so yeah, I'll go a different path against d4. Alright, I already don't know what I'm doing in this position. This is move 3 and I'm out of book. Let's play. So bishop e6, queen c8 seems neutral. Since he's covered with king h2, I'm just going to develop the knight. I'm looking at this g3 square. He's just ignored it. It's probably right to do so. Can I do anything crazy? Yeah, if I don't do something, you're just going to play g4, g5. It's probably better for you. Let's be active about it. Okay. Entirely positional sacrifice. I'm not actually even threatening to put anything on his king. It's just an open target to hit later. Just making some progress on these dark squares. Put the queen on c7. Just force him to use a blocker. Okay. We'll hit this again. Pawn at h4 is also, yeah, maybe pawn at h4 is better. This is fine. We get pawn at g5. Yeah. Nothing special here. I've just got him thinking about his king. This looks worthwhile capturing. Put some pressure on h3. Okay, I'm taking too much time now. Gotta move. Whoa, what's going on here? Knight on h4 has become an option. So with that knight on h2 and the pawn on f4, it really changes things. But now I've only got 22 seconds left, so yeah, you're gonna have to move like the wind. Maybe knight at g3 first was better. I'm going to play knight at c4 first to cut off this king from going to d2, because I like my chances with bishop at g4. And that's why he's cutting that one off. Now this is hanging as well, so it's got a lot to think about. Get the queen. Here comes some checks. I've got to go. Whoa. Oh, you got me in the time scramble. No, we'll play. Good hustle. Pretty sure I missed a mate in there somewhere, but I just ran out of time. Okay. This is the last match. Alright, we'll see if he heads down the same line again. If he wants to put my king on h3, I'll go there again. I've got faith that that it's decent for white picking up that extra piece for a pawn. We'll see if he changes tack. He has. Okay, in this case, maybe I should back the king. Because if I go to h3 now, h5 looks a lot more dangerous. So there's no knight at h3, mate. But okay, there's other things to be concerned about. There's rook at h1 now. So I do have to take this with the king. Ooh, now he's going to hit me with a knight somewhere. So h3 and e4 are the hit points. Which one do I need to allow? I need to allow e4, I think. I'll play this one. I can still run the king to e3 after knight at e4. And then pawn at d7 becomes an option. So I'm expecting pawn at f2 here. But then I've got pawn at d7 and queen b4 to relieve my queen. Which I'm going to do. Now he may play c5. I've got to check if If he promotes to a knight, if that's dangerous. If he promotes to a knight, I've got c5 is tricky. Queen b7, f1, king d3, rook at c3 mates me. If I capture, he makes a knight here. That looks too dangerous. So from here, bishop at d6 maybe. Yeah, I think bishop at d6. And he might just be able to play king g8, yeah. So takes, create a knight, king d3, rook at c3, take, rook e8, take, queen f8. So I'm going to capture with the pawn. And after f1 promoted to a knight, I want to move my king across. He could just promote to a queen. That's worse for me. Now I've got to bloody defend f2. I can't counter-attack with queen takes e4. And g1 queen is coming as well. So this isn't looking good for me now. Alright, let's go nuts. Yeah, that's accurate. G1 queen showing. So queen e1, rook at c3 mates here. That's a good finish. Good sharp game. Alright, I'm going to call it a night there, guys. It's 1:18 a.m. Overall, out of 25 matches, I think I took 17 to 8 potentially. It was 10 to 5 in the first section, and then 7-3 in the section. So yeah, I'll take a bit of time to look at some comments, but yeah, people saying we've run out of people for these combo cages. I don't think so. I think some of the faces that are playing a fantastic opposition, we could do that again. Yeah, if we'll see. There's always plenty of opponents. Next week will be Atrophied, so look out for that one. The fun part about that is you get a dual stream out of that. You can either watch that dual stream live, or you can actually watch the recordings, and you can watch them in sync. I personally have had a review of some of that material, and yeah, it's quite entertaining. It's interesting to see where both Atrophied and I align on our ideas, and where we also assess the position quite differently and go different ways. So yeah, look out for that one next week. We should have a tournament on this weekend as well, so that's probably the next stream. And yes, sorry, I am behind on the cancer donations, Tim, and game of the week by a long shot. Work's just been flat out. So glad I could make it to this stream. Hope you all enjoyed it. Have a great weekend. You'll see me again soon if you tune into the channel. Take care.